Hello and welcome back to this bonus 5th episode of our deep dive open day presentation about the computer animation course at the University of South Wales. And in this section we'll talk about preparing a portfolio to apply to the course, whether that's someone who already has CG experience, perhaps looking to join us in the third year, or even if that's somebody with no CG experience at all, looking to join us directly as a first year in year one. And we'll go through what are the kind of fundamental underpinning, often artistic skills we're looking for at that level. We'll then talk about how we take those fundamental underpinning skills and build upon those to create all the cool CG art and animation work we produce here at the University of South Wales. So without further ado, let's crack on with part 5. Okay, so in this section we're going to move on to talking about how to create a portfolio for computer animation. And it depends what we mean by that. So it depends if we mean, a more CG portfolio for somebody looking to start with us directly into third year, or join us directly into second year, or does it mean somebody coming to us at the start of the first year who doesn't know any CG stuff yet? Okay, so there's a drawing aspect to this, and there's also a kind of a CG aspect to this. So I'll start with this in reverse order. And actually where I've grabbed this image from is from the university website. Jump over to that. Okay, so if you go on the university website, you find the BA Computer Animation course, and you drill down, you'll find that image. I'll come back to that. Really, if I'm starting with this in reverse order, if we're thinking of an applicant who wants to join us in third year first, directly into third year, you've done 2 years on a level 4, level 5 HND program, which will give you enough credits to then join us in the third year. What we want to see is, does the quality of CG work that you produce feel similar to the quality our second years will produce at the end of the second year when they're going into third year? So it does feel like that kind of quality. So to get the best sense of that and what kind of examples of that work looks like, I would say to you, our YouTube channel is the best go-to. Okay, so what you'll see here, the reason we like pointing people towards our YouTube channel is because we can chapterize content. You see all kinds of information about the course and that kind of stuff. You will see show reels and talks about things about the course, but also then we're able to kind of cluster work into examples. Okay, so we're working on this section at the moment. You can see we have first year show reels that I'll come on and play. Examples of what does the quality of work look like from our students at the end of the first year. So somebody looking to go into the second year, this would really kind of fit. We're adding to this one at the moment. Okay, so next time you go look at that, this might already be added to with a bunch of second year show reels. These are some of the projects I'm going to show you later and talk about. So you should be able to click through examples of our student work to kind of get a sense the sort of level of quality we're looking for. Also in here you have CG animated, CG artist show reels, so it depends which of those you're looking to join us as. I guess if we start with the top down, so if I'm imagining somebody looking to join us in year 3, if I come right down here and I go to these end of year show examples, almost like an archive of our end of year show, and I open that playlist, what you'll notice here are work that says third year. That's CG animator, if I was, and these show reels then will be third year show reels. So these would be students who would be graduating. This is third year work. So if you're looking to join us at the start of this year, what you need to do in each case is scroll down until you see things that say best second year. Okay, so these will be the best examples of second year work at the end of the second year, our students going through into third year. Okay, so gives you a sense of kind of the level of quality. And remember here, these students are nominated for best second year in our end of year show. All right, so these are our strongest students at this point. But what it gives you a good sense of is how we get students to present their work at the end of the second year. The things are starting off with wireframes of stuff. So we can see your low poly modeling skills. Then we're seeing textured versions of that. Then also students are showing textures. So somebody looking to join us in year 3 but showed me a show reel that looked like this. That was in this kind of structure. I see all the skills I need to see for somebody looking to join us as an artist. This would be, there's no animation in this. This is a student who's specialised as a modelling texturing artist throughout the course. Okay, nice, interesting little presentation ideas. I can see the student can light, they can present well. They're very much like a hard surface artist. They're into props, environments, vehicles, that kind of stuff. Less character work, yeah. It also gives me a sense of the flavour of the type of student this is, yeah, where their skills lie. Certainly if anyone was sending me a reel like this is a bit of a no-brainer for me to think, well, yeah, the student would be fine to go through into year 3, yeah, the presentation is great. All the artist requirement skills are great, yeah, that would be an easy decision to make off something like that. Okay, actually I'll jump through to a different year. So yeah, let's go look at this one, just so I can find a second year animator. Yeah, so I'm doing the same thing again. I'm scrolling down through this work. This is 2018 now. I'm looking for best second year. Here you go, Paulo Figueiredo. Yeah. So here we usually what we try and have is one animator, one artist. From first year, you can see first years there. You can see second years there, and then above this, then these are all third years. Okay, so we're still thinking somebody joined us in the third year. This time, somebody who would want to join us as an animator. Here's an example of an animation showreel at the end of year 3. So the student has some creature work, a little bit of kind of acting, performance, character stuff, more body mechanic, toony, gamesy stuff. Yeah, so this is examples of projects we do in the second year. The student is showing us. Yeah, really great skills evident already. Really good body mechanic skills, really good creature work. This student worked in partnership with another student to produce this piece.
But always remember this. Marines die. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, already you can see the students getting to a very good level of skill with their animation work. And again, if your work looks like this, if it has this level of animation quality and presentation quality and the range of things you've covered as well, it's a no-brainer for me to think, yeah, that student fits easily into year 3, right? And also, you know, it gives you a good sense how we put all that stuff together into showreels. Yeah, so you can go trolling through that stuff. So where did I go? I went kind of almost down to the bottom. Previous end of year show playlists to see the archive stuff. Also, you can get a good sense of how we put together animator and artist showreels generally. This will tend to be third year work. Yeah, so oodles of stuff for you to go clicking through there to get different presentation ideas. And in each case, you should note that there's textured versions of stuff, wireframe versions of stuff. Things are nicely lit. Yeah, kind of, you know, you can Google this kind of stuff as well, how to put a good showreel together for a CD artist job in industry, right? It'll be all the same stuff. Yeah? This seems to be messing around with Houdini and all kinds of bits and bobs as well. So it's really whatever stuff you've been doing that is, you know, your better work, I would say. Just kind of compiling that together into a nice little showreel and host it somewhere, host it on YouTube, host it on Vimeo. And when you send in your application, just send us a link to that. Yeah? Okay, so that gives you a good sense of that. So if I drop down a year, and I imagine now I'm a student looking to join the course in year 2. So maybe the course I've done doesn't give me equivalent grades to join year 3, but it might year 2. Or maybe when we've looked at the work and the application we're recommending year 2 can be another way that goes. Really what we'd be looking for there to suggest a year 2 entry would be that the level of work is equivalent with our first year. Okay, so like I said in here, we have a nice little collection of first year showreels. Okay, and you'll see a very similar situation here. So if I click on Katerina Boteva, so this is a showreel that a student has completed at the end of year 1. Yeah, so if your work is this kind of equivalent, you know, either you're looking to apply to us in year 2, or you might be applying to us in year 3, and we kind of feel you'd fit better in year 2. So if we can't make an offer to year 3, we can look at the quality of work, we can look at the sort of level you seem to be at for animation and art, and we can make a recommendation perhaps that year 2 is a better fit. Yeah, so hopefully there shouldn't be any situation where you apply to us and we can't suggest something somewhere. If you have any kind of CG work and drawing skills work, you know, if we can't offer year 3, we'll consider year 2. If we can't offer year 2, we'll consider year 1. And we'll try and see where we can kind of fit things that we think you'd have the most successful time on the course. Okay, but you can see a very similar kind of set of stuff there. This then is Shirley Liu, who's an artist. at the end of year 1, and she's showcasing her best work from year 1. You can see the level is different. The students currently in year 3 and is a fantastic artist at the moment, but everyone starts out in a way that they're learning stuff. Nobody starts out being kind of amazing at any of this stuff. It's all a big learning curve. This is where this student got to at the end of year 1, and again you can see the different presentation techniques, showing us close-ups, showing us kind of slightly dizzy fly-throughs of things. So there's a whole playlist there of first year work that you can go look at, which would be the level of work that would fit somebody coming into year 2. Okay. Now, what about somebody looking to come into year 1? Well, if I go back to the course webpage again, and I drill down a little bit, so those are examples of students who've already done some CG work looking to come to level 2, to year 2 and year 3 on the course. If you're looking to join us in year 1, you can drill down through some of these things you can open to give you lots of details about what you study and that kind of stuff. There's one here called Application Tips, and if we open that, we'll see that image that I started with, how to create a portfolio for computer animation. If we click in here, there's already a little guide on the website of the kind of things we're looking for underpinning prerequisite fundamental skills, and you'll notice that we start off with things pointing towards drawing, art and design, observational drawing, life drawing, concept sketches, storyboarding, any of that kind of traditional art and design stuff, because as a course, we fundamentally believe that having good artistic skills is really key. If we have good, strong artistic traditional drawing and painting and those kind of skills first, we can build all those CG skills on top of that. Without those artistic skills, that's a more difficult situation for us. So you see the advice here to this is really advising students what to bring to an interview. Okay, so anyone looking to apply to us internationally, you just need to make us some kind of presentation of this sort of work. I'll show you an example of that in a sec. That could be a website, it could be a Flickr profile, it could be Instagram. My daughter has a kind of her Instagram art page, where she's uploading examples of things she's doing this year. So it could be anything like that you can send us a link and we can see the work quickly. It could be a PDF, anything where you're showing us kind of a portfolio of stuff you've done recently. It can be CG work as well. We're not absolutely expecting that at this stage. I'd say there the 2D and the drawing and design work is more important than the CG work if you're looking to join us at the start of year 1, because we're fully expecting to teach you all that stuff, as we're saying here. Please don't feel that's a requirement if you're going to join us at the start of year 1, because we're intending to teach you that from the ground up. Okay, much keener to see your traditional art design skills, right? It's a really good phrase there. To give you a sense of what that might look like, I have this PDF that a member of staff made a little while ago, and what it's called here, Pre-Undergraduate Drawing Level Guide for courses within what was the division of animation then, which is the division of animation and games now. So a little guide for somebody looking to apply to us for the first year, and the question being, what sort of level of drawing is applicable? Okay, so this gives us a good sense of that, the kind of things that you might include in a character design bracket. Level of drawing quality that would fit with us in year 1 might be this kind of level. We like to see sketchbook work, that's absolutely fine. We understand scribbly, sketchy, figuring things out drawings. Not every drawing has to be a final piece of work. This student's already getting interested in animation, so he's talking about things to do with animation terms that they're kind of exploring as a little research project with notes for study. And then life drawing, something we do on the course in the first year as well in visual studies. And if there is any opportunity to be doing this kind of stuff, even if this is just kind of drawing people in the street and stuff, or if it's you can do life drawing classes online and this kind of thing. So if there's any opportunity to do more kind of figure drawing, figure study, that's also highly kind of endorsed. I think what's interesting about these drawings is some of them are not the best in the world. I think these are from a number of different portfolios. This is somebody struggling to kind of develop skills in this area. So it gives you a good sense of kind of the level of drawing skill we can work with. If you have drawing skills that are in this kind of bracket, that's certainly something we can be working with you on during the course and helping you develop when you're on the course. Also, you might have this kind of stuff, kind of project sheets. Anything you've done in any kind of art and design practice, any art and design course that's developing ideas for stuff. Again, research, sketch ideas using different media. Any of this stuff is all good. Other kind of research of stuff, scrapbook kind of work. On certain art and design courses, you might do experiments with mark making and all kinds of stuff, you know, painting and kind of whatever that is. All right, so it gives you a good sense of a level that we're looking for into year 1. Also, I have an example here from a recent applicant from Malaysia, in fact. All right, so this is from Li Wan Yuan. This came through this year to be considered for a place in the first year, October 2021. You know, nicely arranged little portfolio. There's not a huge number of pages, okay, which is okay. I mean, this is a condensed version. Basically, as long as we can see the skills, that's fine. Little intro bit first. Pencil sketches, yeah, so already I can see a decent level of drawing skill. Different types of stuff, really, like observational drawing. We like drawing from life, we like, rather than drawing from photographs, if you can. Then a more sort of painterly approach. Yeah? So there was another version of this where the student was asking, like, is this the kind of thing you want to see? And I remember there was some prep work for this where it was kind of showing it in different stages of work in progress, and that was fine as well, right? So like I've shown you in the drawing guide, you can show your prep work and your sketch work as well as your final stuff, right? That's absolutely fine. It's quite nice to see how that came together, right? So if you've got any stuff where there's initial versions or trial versions or something, then feel free to include those as well. A bit of graphic design work, and then a little bit of clay modeling. Yeah, so nothing is out of bounds. Yeah, anything you've done that's within the realms of art and design. We're a 3D CG course at the end of the day, so a bit of 3D work is always good. Okay, so you know, that's a really good example of a portfolio, and like I said, it's quite short, 9 slides. The top and the bottom one are both text, so we could say there's 7 pages there of images, and from that I can tell this student will be absolutely fine with anything we throw at them. They'll be fine with all the design parts of what we do, and they'll be fine with the 3D CG parts when we teach them that stuff. Okay, let's move on to show you how we use those skills. So really, we've been talking about how to create a portfolio to apply to us. What I also want to show you is how we underline that importance of drawing skills. I've got some examples of recent student work just to show you kind of how we take those pre-production elements and convert those into stuff that we use on the course. So this is a project we do at the start of the second year, where students, in this case, one of the few times we don't design a character. Usually we would, right? But in this case, students go choose a character. They're encouraged to choose kind of a 2D character. They convert it into 3D. And the idea is creating characters and animating characters if you're an animator for games. Okay, so the idea is you choose a character and you take it through a modeling, rigging pipeline if you're an animator, and then into a game engine. So drawing and design is important. All these research stages are important. This kind of stuff we do about 25% of the time on the course. It's worth about 25% of the marks. Yeah, so we're always in some kind of prep area before we move on into CG side of things. Yeah, we're always doing this kind of stuff, the drawing sort of side of things, before we do this kind of stuff. Yeah, so if we have a 4-week project, we'll spend the first week doing things that are prep and design work, and we'd spend the next 3 weeks doing the CG stuff, right? It's always that kind of split. It's always 25%, it's always a quarter, more or less. Okay, so this is the character that got built. We'll show you that in a sec, and then we're moving forward into then more research. So students here are encouraged to go down a 2D pathway. So she's looking at any sort of reference points to this character there was a little 2D animation show that she's kind of found. There was a game that got made, a very simple little kind of pixel art game. So there's not really a 3D CG game of this character. There's not really been that kind of conversion. All right, so instead she's going looking at other kind of similar games, any game that's a reference point to give the sense of kind of that 2D stuff. She's telling us all the things here she's noticed from this cool research that she's been doing. Then what we'll get students to do is to move on into preparing for animation. Yeah, so this is a student who's on the animation path rather than the artist path. To get it working in game, they have to do a kind of an idle, then a walk, a run, a jump, and a special move or attack. So this is Grace, whose work this is. Really getting into character there. Spending a bunch of time like enjoying what she's noticed about how this character's drawn in the comic strips, and then the little 2D show that was made, and kind of trying to act that out because she wants to develop ideas around how the character moves and convert those into drawn thumbnails. Really good drawing skills. So you see now already the artistic drawing skills coming through into thumbnailing, which is what we really like. And then also then, because these thumbnails, the initial ones, will be more realistic because they're drawn over live action. Also then trying to do a version of those which is more 2D, so pushing the poses and exaggerating things and fiddling with timing. Yeah, flopping things around more than they did in the realistic one, even though you're trying to do that. You know, your arms are not as rubbery as we might suggest in animation. Yeah. Okay, and then we end up with a set of thumbnails we can use for a guide for what we animate. We can match these poses up. Essentially, students get taught how to do all this kind of stuff throughout the course, through year 1 and year 2. So by the time they get to this point, they're well aware of like what the processes are. Okay, and then the student then is going on prepping for each of the different animation routines they've got to do, running past camera in a way that this silly character might run. And again, spending a really good amount of time doing a draw over of the realistic motion and then trying to tunify it up more. So it's developing every time. And a student who has the drawing skills to do this will kind of do a better job and be more inclined to do it, and will enjoy doing it, and that kind of, we'll see the sense in it. Yeah, so we really love working with people who've come from that artistic background. They've got that stuff first, and then we encourage them down this pathway of developing these processes, and then eventually into the CG stuff. Okay, so it's a lot of work here, which is again really pleasing. Yeah, this is a really strong student. Doing lots of silly little ideas for poses. Yeah, that she's acted out herself here. And then this idea of a special move, because the character's kind of crazy. You know, spending a bit of time doing some silly stuff. I'm sure Grace can be very embarrassed if she knows I'm showing this publicly online. Awesome. Alright, so we like to have fun with it. It's animation, you know, so you're inclined to go towards stuff that's comedic quite often. Okay, so there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of thumbs, there's a really good amount of work, right? So there's even some thoughts here about the environment. If there was a simple environment made for this character, what that might look like. It doesn't have to be in this case because the student is going forward as an animation specialist, so really the focus can be just on stuff that pertains to animation. Okay, so let's show you kind of how that then turns out. So here I have an example of what the model looked like. Yeah, again, really great piece of work that. For the start of year 2, it's already really, really high quality. And then we have the rigging element of this. So rigging being the stage before you can animate something. So we put skeletons inside characters. We set up all these kind of control sliders when we're making our own characters. We also animate with rigs that we download off the internet where this work is already done. But we want all our students to understand, our animation students to understand that rigging is closely aligned to animation, and we want, some of our students will go on into rigging rather than animation. So we want everyone to have a kind of a good grounding in that, so they can set this kind of stuff up. So you see the kind of, again, the quality, the level of detail, the professional. If anybody's played with any rigs, the sort of professional level we get students to here, and this is the start of the second year. So they get a really good walkthrough of how to rig this, and then they go off and apply a load of time to it and create these great rigs. We've got all these sliders to do the different, to tweak around and pose around this puppet, so we can set poses on specific frames to create the animation. The student will have gone on then and done what we call a deform test. Yeah, so again, if you're looking to come to us as say an animated rigger into year 2 and year 3, you could be showing us this kind of work. Yeah, anything that's showing us kind of stages of what you understand about the process is all going to be great. And so once we've got that, then once we got to that point, then we're ready to go and animate this character. So we will start off by blocking out the things that we planned in the thumbnails. Yeah, so these are the initial kind of blockouts of those walks and runs and jumps, creep, special move, karate kick. Yeah, so Grace did like at least 2 more routines than she needed to do. And then we'll work from those blockouts then into, finalizing and polishing and developing the animation over the weeks we have to produce this work. So this element of this work is about 2 or 3 weeks project. The first part where we're modeling and rigging is about 3 weeks, and this element then when we're animating and getting it into a game engine is another 3 weeks. So 6 weeks altogether. So again, you can see the quality of animation that the student has reached by this point. Again, it's very strong. Then we get this working in the game engine. So we use Unreal Engine for this, which is widely used in industry now. That is what runs Fortnite by Epic. So this is Unreal Engine. This student is deciding to just use the default environment, and that's absolutely fine. So in fact, we encourage that. We're kind of saying to people, well, if you want to go forward to industry as an animator, you wouldn't be making that environment anyway. So why not just focus on developing the animation skills, to be employed as an animator. And here, the skills needed, the technical skills needed to implement that character, make it controllable in game. So this is a screen record of this game being played. You can play this with keyboard and mouse. And she's having fun here, smashing up her creature model that she made in the first year. Right, so she's gone a little further than the bare minimum in each case with the student. A great little piece of work here with some great skills developing. So another one I want to show you as well is this VFX project that we do in the second year. So we start off in the second year with that Toonie Games project, and then the second project we move on to 6 weeks is this a realistic creature project. So we're deliberately going from character to creature and from Toonie to realistic with this one. Here students choose a multi-legged creature to build if you're an artist, or build an animator if you're an animator. You have complete freedom of choice here, but it has to be more than 4 legs. And the suggestion is we call the project Arachnids and Crustaceans. So it can be bugs and spiders or lobsters or crabs or beetles or whatever. So this student is going towards this Hercules beetle. In terms of the art and design skills, we generally will do research first and then kind of drawings from research and sketches. Here we're not really in a design process because it's an existing creature, so we'll go study anatomy, we'll go study kind of models, other models of similar creatures. We'll look at the animated clips of that, we'll develop a model sheet of it to start building this from. And then really an animator's job here with this piece is they have to model it, rig it and animate it. This time into a VFX shot, so they track a shot and fit it in. So in the game project we fitted it into a game engine, this time we're fitting it into kind of a VFX, what we call a pipeline. So again we have some thumbnails, initial kind of figurings out of how this creature moves. With little kind of tryouts and tests of stuff. And then other little tryouts of how we might make these creatures move. We call this previs, where there's an initial kind of quite a simple display of how we want to make a creature move within the shot. One is like studying how the creature moves, its locomotion, how its legs move. The other is a little study of how the creature might move through a shot. Okay, so we're going to go out and film something for real, and then we're going to composite our creature into that shot so it looks like it moves across that log, is what we're going to do eventually. So it's a little kind of test of that sort of stuff. Then the student's gone out and done different location shoots, little scouting kind of location recce. Then on some of those location shots, they've come back in again and done a little test animation of how the creature might move through the shot, and then done this via drawing as well. So you can see how the a student with good drawing skills and good artistic skills is able to do this fundamental kind of part of the stuff that underpins all the CG work really well. It tends to lead to good CG work if you're good at the 2D work first. Okay, then filming a moving shot, because students here have to track a shot with software. And then test walk cycle here. Just an initial, it's not final, but it's a student like fumbling around initially, kind of trying out how this is going to work. Final previs version of that. Now a model's been made, so we get a good sense of what's going to happen with it. And then into the final work of this. Actually, I'll show you another one. I'll show you one that we put together as a nice little kind of show reel that shows all the different stages of the work that goes into the CG part after this. So this is by a different student. It's a little crab that was filmed in Cardiff Museum. Yeah, really nice piece of work, really high quality. In this case, so we've even got a good texture and it's nicely lit and that kind of stuff. And then we see there's a modelling stage to this. So again, if you're looking to put a show reel together to show us, you could show us all these stages if you've done this kind of work. A rigging stage, like I showed you with the Toonie game character. A deform test, kind of animation test, pose test kind of stage to this. Initial animation tests. And then this is the tracking of the shot. Yeah, so we get students to evidence all this work, all the different stages of it. You can even show us this kind of thing if you want. You know, you can show us the whole process. So there's kind of a pose test, then there's a layout test, kind of a previous test of that. Then into animation blocking, you know, your initial kind of blockouts of the animation, and then working into that animation. And kind of detailing up, you know, going into fine-tuning parts of it, adding details to that, and then into your final shot. So again, very high quality of work. I'm not expecting to see anything like this from somebody who's certainly applying to the first year. Just want to show you how we take those drawing skills and put those into practice to support this CG work. But maybe somebody looking to come to us in year 3, you might have work that's going towards that, you know. And don't forget, all these examples tend to be the best work, the kind of the excellent student work. So that would be an excellent student, in fact, in year 2. So if you're looking to come to us in year 3, we expect to see a range of quality of work. Okay, it just depends whether we feel that the level of work is something we can kind of work with. Yeah. So just cut together what you have, the best stuff that you have, into some of the examples. Akin to some of the examples I'm showing you today. So that's the end of this section about creating a portfolio to apply to us. So I hope that was helpful, and stick around for part 6, where I'll take you on a tour of our campus and show you all the cool facilities we have at the university.